Imagine for a moment that you're caught in the middle of a storm. In the distance, you see a flash of light, a lightning bolt that splits the sky. This light represents what you desire, what you aspire to achieve. But this storm is you. It's your mind, your fears, your insecurity. It's within this chaos that the universe begins to test you, because Carl Gustav Jung, one of the founders of psychoanalysis, believed that our consciousness is deeply intertwined with the cosmos. Jung did not view the universe as a place of random events, but as a stage where our psyche intertwines with synchronicity, and where trials and challenges are merely reflections of our own internal evolution. In other words, when we ask for something, when we desire something with all our being, the universe responds, but not always in the way we expect. The universe is not a benefactor who simply delivers our wishes on a silver platter. It is not an entity that grants whims without any effort or commitment on our part. In reality, the universe is a sculptor, and we are the marble. And if you've ever seen a sculptor at work, you know that the process of creating a masterpiece is neither gentle nor simple. It's a process of chiseling, cutting, hammering, eliminating everything that doesn't belong to the final vision. Why does the universe act this way? Because it's not just about getting what we want. It's about becoming people who can handle what we desire. When we express a wish to the universe, we're not just making a request for external change. We're engaging in a profound process of inner transformation. It's easy to say we want success, love, or abundance, but the question that really matters is, are we ready to handle those things? The reality is that the universe confronts us with challenges precisely to prepare us, to shape us into the people we can and must be to reach our goals. These challenges are nothing more than a reflection of our inner resistance, the places where we are not yet whole, parts of ourselves that need to be polished and strengthened. Imagine that you're trying to attract love into your life. Not just any love, but a deep and meaningful one. It's natural to desire this, but the universe won't deliver it to you unless you're ready to receive it, and this preparation goes beyond the surface. It's not just about being ready to love, but also about being ready to be loved. Thus, the universe puts you to the test, confronting you with failed relationships, broken hearts, and devastating moments of loneliness. In those times, you might feel like everything is against you, that your desires are being mocked. But in reality, you're being shaped. Every failed relationship, every broken heart is a lesson, an opportunity to look within yourself and ask, what do I need to learn here? What part of me needs to be healed, strengthened, or transformed? Because it's only when you become someone capable of supporting and nurturing true love that the universe will grant it to you. Until then, challenges will keep coming, not to punish you, but to prepare you. The same principle applies to professional success. It's easy to desire success, wealth, recognition, but before the universe grants you these, it will put you to the test. Are you truly ready to bear the weight of the responsibility that comes with success? Are you ready to lead, make tough decisions, and withstand pressure? That's why instead of rising quickly, you face layoffs, failing projects, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. These are neither random events nor punishments. They are tests. It's the way the universe checks if you're ready for what you ask. If you can confront these challenges, learn from them, and maintain your vision and determination despite it all, then you will be ready. And when you are ready, the universe won't deny you what you desire. The process is hard. It's inevitable. You can't skip the trials or escape the lessons because the universe won't give you what you desire unless you become the person capable of handling it. If you try to take shortcuts, if you're looking to avoid the process, the only thing you'll accomplish is postponing the inevitable. The universe will test you over and over because its aim isn't to deliver what you desire right away, but to transform you into the strongest, most capable, and most authentic version of yourself. When you face a challenge, when life feels like it's testing you, it's essential to understand what's really happening. This isn't just an obstacle you have to overcome to reach your goals. It runs much deeper than that. It's an examination of your authenticity, your true self, being assessed. Right now, the universe, life, or however you choose to call it, is asking you, are you really who you say you are? Are you truly committed to what you desire? This isn't a superficial question. It's an inquiry that forces you to look in the mirror, to dig beneath your most superficial layers, and discover what's truly within you. It's easy to say you want something. Success, love, recognition, freedom. It's easy to picture yourself at the top of what you want, enjoying the fruits of your fulfilled desires. But desire alone isn't enough. Wanting something isn't the same as being ready to receive it, and even less so to maintain it. This is where challenges come into play. Challenges are like a purifying fire, and this fire doesn't discriminate. It burns away everything that isn't authentic, everything that is fragile, everything that is a facade. Only what is true, what is solid, what is essential, survives. When you encounter difficulties that seem to contradict your desires, what's really happening is that the universe is purifying your being, stripping away everything that isn't needed, everything that isn't authentic, so that only what is genuine remains. Imagine, for example, that you desire success in your career. You have this image in your mind: recognition, prosperity, a high position. What happens when, instead of moving forward, you face setbacks? Perhaps you lose a job or an important project fails. You may feel overwhelmed by the competition. Frustration and doubt start to take over. It's at this precise moment that the test intensifies, and here, your authenticity is put to the test. Are you ready to push on despite failures? Are you ready to reassess your strategies, learn from your mistakes, and keep going even when everything seems against you? If not, then the desire you had was superficial, just a fantasy rather than a real goal. But if you stand firm, if you face the challenge with courage and determination, then you show that what you desire is genuine and that you, as a person, are capable of supporting that desire. The same applies to other aspects of life. Let's say you aspire to a meaningful romantic relationship. The desire is there, clear and strong. But instead of finding that special someone, you encounter disappointments, breakups, and loneliness. Once again, the universe is testing you. Are you seeking a true relationship, or merely trying to fill a void? Are you ready to work on yourself, confront your own flaws, and heal your wounds before the love you desire comes to you? You cannot deceive the universe or yourself. The challenges you face are a way to distill that authenticity, a way to eliminate everything that is false, everything that is not sustainable. In this sense, challenges are neither cruel nor arbitrary. They are just. They are the way life prepares you to receive what you've asked for. Because the truth is, you cannot sustain something that doesn't truly belong to you. If your desire is not authentic, if you are not the person capable of handling what you're asking for, then sooner or later, you'll lose it. This is where true commitment comes into play. A commitment not just to the end result, but to the process, to the journey. It's easy to stay committed to a goal when everything is going well, when there are no obstacles in your way. But true commitment reveals itself when things get tough, when you are faced with adversity. It's in those moments that you decide whether to continue or to give up. Authentic commitment means being ready to do the necessary inner work, to face your fears, insecurities, and limitations. It involves being willing to grow, to become the person capable of supporting what you desire. This is the true purpose of challenges, not only to assess your authenticity, but also to help you develop and strengthen it. Inner transformation is not a simple or linear process. It's a profound journey, often painful, that requires confronting the darkest and most hidden aspects of your being. To attract abundance, you first need to examine your relationship with money. What beliefs have you inherited about wealth? What behaviors have you learned throughout your life, perhaps from a young age? Have you been conditioned to believe that money is scarce, that wealth is reserved for a select few, or that wealth is morally questionable? These limiting beliefs are like anchors that keep you trapped in a cycle of scarcity. No matter how much you desire prosperity, the universe, in its wisdom, will not grant you what you long for until you are ready to handle it. Managing abundance means transforming limiting beliefs, facing them head-on, and dismantling them. You may find yourself facing financial difficulties that force you to reevaluate your relationship with money. These experiences can be painful, but they are necessary. They are disguised lessons, opportunities for you to develop an abundance mindset. This process of inner transformation also involves overcoming fear. The fear of scarcity, the fear of losing what you have, the fear of not being good enough to deserve more. Fear is a major obstacle on the path of manifestation, as it keeps your energy stuck in a state of contraction rather than expansion. The universe will challenge you, placing you in situations where your fears will be activated, for it is only by confronting them that you can overcome them. You may lose money in a failed investment, or perhaps your business will not achieve the success you expected. These failures are not signs that you should give up, but rather signs that you need to push further. You should ask yourself, what beliefs or fears are holding me back? How can I shift my mindset to better align with the abundance I desire? Inner transformation goes beyond just money. It encompasses all aspects of your life. If you desire love, for example, it's not enough to wish for an ideal partner. You need to become someone who is truly ready to love and be loved. This may involve healing past wounds, overcoming emotional traumas, and learning to be vulnerable. The universe will put you in situations that compel you to do this inner work, as it's only once you're ready for a deep and meaningful relationship that these opportunities will arise. In every case, inner transformation is a process of self-evaluation. It's about shedding the layers of conditioning fear and limiting beliefs that have kept you small, so you can emerge as your true self, whole and powerful. This self is aligned with abundance, with love, with success. This self can support what the universe is ready to give you. But make no mistake, this process isn't easy. It requires courage, introspection, and the willingness to confront parts of yourself that you'd rather avoid. It demands brutal honesty with yourself to acknowledge where you've acted out of fear, lack, or insecurity. And most importantly, it requires patience, as inner transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey that may take time, but it's a journey worth taking. The universe acts as a mirror, reflecting what you need to see within yourself. When you're faced with difficulties, when things aren't going as planned, it's because there's a part of you that needs to be transformed. This is not a punishment. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn, to evolve into the person you are truly meant to be. When you're confronted with challenges that seem insurmountable, it's easy to succumb to despair, to that feeling that the effort isn't worth it, that fate is against you. But it's precisely in these critical moments that your mindset plays a crucial role. Maintaining a positive mindset isn't just about blind optimism or denial of reality. It's a strategy deeply rooted in human psychology, designed to help you resist and overcome the challenges that life inevitably presents. The key here is to learn to celebrate every small achievement, every advancement, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the grand scheme of things. It's not about deceiving yourself or pretending everything is fine when it's not, but rather recognizing that the journey towards your goals is long and difficult, and that every step forward is a victory in itself. Consider, for example, someone struggling to build a professional career in a highly competitive field. It's easy to get discouraged when results aren't immediate, when efforts seem to go unrewarded right away. However, instead of focusing solely on the end goal, it's essential to pay attention to the small victories. Perhaps it's a successful meeting, a slight increase in sales, or a new professional connection. Each of these achievements, no matter how small, is a step forward, and each step forward brings you a little closer to your ultimate goal. Why is it so important to celebrate these small victories? Because our brain is designed to respond to rewards. When you recognize and celebrate a small success, you not only reinforce your positive behavior, but also enhance your mental resilience. This acknowledgement sends a clear message to your subconscious. I am making progress. I am on the right track. This creates a cycle of positive feedback that motivates you to continue, even when the path gets tough. But celebrating progress isn't just about keeping morale high. It's also a practice that helps you stay aligned with your deepest intention. Jung teaches us that the manifestation of our desires is not just a matter of effort, but also of alignment. When you celebrate your progress, you affirm your intention. You remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. You strengthen the connection between your conscious self and your subconscious, between your daily actions and your long-term goals. This doesn't mean you should ignore the challenges you face or pretend that everything is fine when it's clearly not. Life is tough, and sometimes things just don't go right. Accepting the reality of difficulties is essential for maintaining a balanced perspective. But that's where the ability to find balance comes into play. Between accepting hardships and celebrating progress, accepting difficulties means recognizing that the road to your goals will be filled with obstacles, and that these obstacles are a natural part of the process. They are not signs of failure, but opportunities to learn, grow, and strengthen yourself. At the same time, celebrating progress means not allowing these obstacles to define or stop you. Instead of focusing solely on what you have yet to achieve, you allow yourself to acknowledge what you have already accomplished, which keeps you moving forward. This approach not only helps you maintain a positive mindset, but also prepares you for long-term success. Because in the end, success is not just the result of great effort, but also the accumulation of many small efforts, many small victories. It's a constant reminder that, even though the journey can be tough, each step brings you a little closer to the reality you wish to create. Moreover, consciously celebrating progress also impacts how you perceive time and effort. When you focus only on the final goal, the path can seem endless and exhausting. But when you learn to celebrate every small achievement, you begin to see the journey from a new perspective. Every day, every effort becomes an opportunity to progress, to improve, to grow. And suddenly, the final goal no longer seems so distant because you realize you are already on your way. You are already making significant progress. Manifestation, at its deepest essence, is a process of continuous evolution, and not merely an act of asking and receiving. Thinking of manifestation as an isolated event is a fundamental mistake because, in reality, it is a constant development, a gradual progression towards the reality we are meant to create. This process reflects the belief that our psyche and our external reality are in a state of perpetual change and transformation. Every time we experience inner growth, the universe responds by presenting us with new challenges and trials. These are neither punishments nor setbacks. On the contrary, they are clear signs that we are making progress. It's as if the universe is saying you've moved forward, you've grown, and now you are ready to face something bigger, something that will take you further on your path. Each challenge we encounter is like a lesson we must learn, and we cannot move on to the next level without integrating what the current challenge has to teach us. That's why it's essential to honor each step of the journey. Instead of getting frustrated because progress seems slow, we need to learn to celebrate every little advancement, every lesson learned. These small milestones are the cornerstones upon which we build our future reality. This process also requires a shift in perspective. We need to stop viewing challenges as obstacles in our way and start seeing them as opportunities to grow and evolve. Because, in the end, it is through these challenges that we become the person we are meant to be. It is through this continuous evolution that our external reality begins to reflect our inner growth. Trust is the other crucial piece of the puzzle. We must trust that the universe is working in our favor, even when we cannot see the whole picture. We need to trust that each trial, each obstacle is designed to shape us, to prepare us to receive what we have asked for. This trust should not be blind, but based on the understanding that continuous evolution is the path to true manifestation. When faced with a new challenge, instead of seeing it as a sign of failure, think of it as an opportunity to further refine your skills, adjust your mindset, and prepare even better for what lies ahead. Each challenge you overcome is a confirmation that you are making progress, that you are on the right path. With every step forward, you get a little closer to the reality you are creating. It's important to remember that manifestation is not just about getting what you desire, but about becoming the person who can sustain and manage that reality. This process, this journey of inner transformation, is what truly matters. For in the end, It's not just what you achieve that defines your success, but who you become in the process. The ongoing evolution reminds us that we never reach a final destination. There is always more to learn, more to grow, more to discover, and that's what makes the journey so valuable. Every step along the way has something to teach us, something that prepares us for the next phase. When we understand this, we can approach each challenge with an open mind and a ready heart, knowing we are exactly where we need to be. The shadow, a central concept in Carl Jung's psychology, represents the darkest, repressed, and often feared aspects of our psyche. What we prefer to ignore or hide, the thoughts, desires, and fears we don't want to admit, neither to ourselves nor to others. But here's a crucial fact. The universe doesn't allow us to ignore our shadow indefinitely. In fact, on our journey towards manifesting what we desire, the shadow plays an indispensable and challenging role. When we shine a bright light in our lives, when we dare to ask for something meaningful, something that truly matters, that light doesn't just illuminate what we want to achieve. It also casts shadows. These shadows are nothing but the dark corners of our psyche that now come into view. And the universe, in its wisdom, uses these shadows as a way to test us. It confronts us with our own insecurities, our deepest fears, our self-destructive behavior patterns, not as a punishment, but as a necessary trial for our personal evolution. Facing the shadow is not something to be taken lightly. It is a deeply uncomfortable, even frightening process, because it forces us to confront aspects of ourselves that we have denied or repressed for years. But this confrontation is crucial if we truly want to manifest our desires in a sustainable and meaningful way. Let's consider someone who aspires to a fulfilling romantic relationship. It's a noble and natural desire, but the path to its fulfillment is not without challenges. What may happen is that instead of immediately finding the ideal partner, this person is faced with old patterns of emotional dependency, the fear of abandonment, and perhaps even a fundamental lack of self-esteem. These are the shadows that emerge when the light of desire turns on. And here's the truth. These shadows don't appear to punish you or sabotage your efforts. They are present because they are a part of you. As long as you don't recognize them, confront them, and transform them, they will continue to interfere with your ability to manifest a healthy, loving relationship. The universe, by bringing forth these shadows, offers you a priceless opportunity for personal growth. It says to you, before you can receive what you ask for, you must be ready to handle it. To be ready, you must first face those parts of yourself that you have ignored. This process, as painful as it may be, is a form of purification. It compels you to let go of what no longer serves you, to break free from the old chains that have held you prisoner, from destructive behavior patterns, and to transform these dark aspects of your being into something more conscious and manageable. Integrating the shadow is, in many ways, an act of courage. It requires the willingness to look within and accept what you find there, without judgment, but with the firm intention to work with it. It's not just about eliminating the shadow, as the shadow is an intrinsic part of who you are. It's about understanding it, recognizing its influence on your thoughts and behaviors, and finding ways to integrate that dark energy so it no longer controls you, but rather empowers you. When you start working with your shadow, instead of repressing or denying it, you begin to free yourself from the limitations that have held you back. It's like taking off a mask you've worn for so long that you forgot you were even wearing it. This release allows you to move forward with more clarity and confidence towards manifesting your desires. For you are no longer operating from a place of fear or insecurity, but from a place of authenticity and personal power. The shadow is therefore not your enemy. It is a tough but fair master that shows you what you need to address in order to grow. It is through the confrontation and integration of these dark aspects that you truly transform into a complete person, capable of managing and supporting what you wish to manifest. Because ultimately, true manifestation is not just about getting what you want, but becoming the person who can receive and fully live it. The process of confronting the shadow is ongoing, as our psyche is in constant evolution. There will always be new aspects to discover, new shadows to integrate. But each time you confront a shadow, you become a little stronger, a little more aware, and a little more capable of living a life that is in full harmony with who you really are and what you truly desire. Synchronicity, as described by Jung, is a fascinating and deeply revealing idea. It's not merely about coincidence or random accidents. Synchronicity is a manifestation of how the universe communicates with us, how our internal psyche intertwines with the outside world in ways that transcend rational logic. It's as if the universe uses a secret language, a language that doesn't express itself through direct words, but rather through events, symbols, and connections that seem too significant to be mere accidents. Imagine that you are going through a personal crisis. You struggle to make sense of your life. You feel lost, disconnected from the purpose that once guided you. Amid this confusion, you might run into an old friend, someone you haven't spoken to in years, but whose seemingly casual conversation opens a door you hadn't considered before. This person mentions a job opportunity, an idea, or a path that suddenly seems to perfectly align with what you need in that moment. It's not just a random encounter, it's synchronicity. It's the universe saying to you, look here, pay attention, this is what you need. These signals, when you recognize them for what they are, can be transformative. They're not always obvious or necessarily spectacular, but their impact can be profound. They may present themselves as numbers you keep seeing repeatedly in unusual places, like a song you hear at pivotal moments, or a dream that leaves such a strong impression that you cannot ignore it. The important thing is to be open, to be present enough to notice when something unusual happens. When you feel there's a deeper meaning behind what seems to be a simple event, consider another situation. You're going through a phase in your life where everything feels stagnant. Opportunities aren't arising, efforts don't seem to bear fruit, and you feel stuck. Suddenly, you find yourself confronted with a series of events that feel strange, but resonate with you on a deeper level. Perhaps you see the same number in different contexts, or hear the same phrase from different people within a short span of time. These aren't mere coincidences. They are synchronicities telling you that something greater is in motion, that the wheels of the universe are aligning to open a path for you, even if that path isn't immediately visible. Jung warns us that synchronicity requires an awake consciousness, a mind willing to see beyond the superficial. If you are too caught up in daily routines, strict logic, or the stress of the moment, you can easily overlook these signs. But if you allow yourself to be present, if you let yourself listen with an open mind, you will start to notice that the universe speaks to you in ways you never imagined. Synchronicity also teaches us to trust the process, to understand that the path to manifestation is not always linear or predictable. Sometimes, the best opportunities, the most decisive moments come in ways you could never have planned. It is in those moments that you must trust that the universe knows what it's doing, that even when the pieces of the puzzle don't seem to fit together right away, you are being guided toward a destiny that is perfect for you. It's important to remember that synchronicity is not something you can force. You cannot make it happen, nor dictate how it will manifest in your life. It is only when you align with the natural flow of the universe that you connect to a level of reality that is much deeper and more significant than you could have imagined. The law of polarity is one of those fundamental principles that, when understood and accepted, completely changes your perspective on life and manifestation. Jung understood this deeply, as he recognized that existence itself is imbued with duality, light and darkness, conscious and unconscious. It is not merely opposing forces clashing, but complementary aspects that together form a whole. This principle is not just philosophical. It has practical implications in every aspect of our lives, especially in the manifestation process. When you desire something, you activate a powerful energy. You ignite a spark within you that begins to attract what you desire. But what many people don't understand is that by lighting this spark of desire, you also activate its opposite. It's like a scale that, when tipping to one side, inevitably affects the other. This is not a flaw in the system. It is a fundamental characteristic of how the universe operates. Polarity ensures that balance is maintained. We do not get swept away by a single aspect of reality, but we integrate both. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you might expect the path to it to be straightforward, filled with opportunities and success. But what often happens is the opposite. You encounter moments of scarcity, experiences that push you to your limits. This isn't a contradiction, nor a sign that you're on the wrong track. It's the manifestation of polarity. The scarcity you experience is an invitation to explore your relationship with money, to face your fears of lack, and to overcome limiting beliefs that you might not have even realized you had. It's in these moments of darkness, doubt, and fear that true character is forged. If you only focus on the light, on the positive, and avoid facing the darkness, you deny yourself the opportunity to grow and heal. You are avoiding an essential part of your being. The law of polarity teaches us that both forces, light and darkness, are necessary for our development. You cannot have one without the other. True wisdom doesn't lie in avoiding darkness, but in learning to navigate it, to integrate it into your life in a way that allows you to reach a state of inner balance. This balance is what enables you to manifest from a place of abundance, rather than from scarcity or fear. It's easy to want to resist negative experiences, to reject or ignore them. But this resistance only strengthens them. What you resist persists. Instead of fighting against darkness, the key is to accept its presence as part of the process. It's not about resigning yourself to negativity, but recognizing that it has something to teach you. Every moment of uncertainty is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, to deepen your understanding of who you are and what you truly desire. The balance between light and darkness is what allows us to move forward with integrity. When you accept both parts of yourself, you become a complete being, capable of facing any situation with strength and wisdom. It is what allows you to manifest your desires from a place of authentic power, rather than being swept away by fear or insecurity. Think of yin and yang, those ancient symbols that represent the perfect balance between opposing forces. Within darkness, there is a point of light, and within light, a point of darkness. This symbol is not just an aesthetic design. It is a visual representation of a universal truth. Light and darkness are not enemies. They are dance partners, each necessary for the other's existence. And when you learn to dance with both, you realize you need not fear either one. By embracing polarity in your life, you free yourself from the need to control every aspect of your existence. You realize that the path to manifestation is not a straight and predictable route, but a journey full of curves, ups and downs, and that's perfectly fine. It is in those curves, in those moments of darkness, that you discover your greatest strengths and learn the most important lessons. The alchemical process, as Jung understood it, is one of the most powerful and profound metaphors for understanding the journey of personal transformation. In ancient alchemy, alchemists dedicated themselves to the challenging task of transforming lead, a dense and common metal, into gold, a precious and pure material. But this process was not just physical, it was also symbolic. Alchemists were actually engaged in a spiritual quest to transmute the densest and darkest aspects of their own psyche into something higher and transcendent. When we apply this metaphor to life and manifestation, we understand that asking something from the universe is much more than simply stating a desire. It is the beginning of an internal alchemical process where limits, fears, and deeply rooted beliefs, our psychological lead, are exposed to a transformative fire. This fire is nothing other than the trials, challenges, and difficulties we encounter along the way. It's an intense heat that, instead of destroying us, has the potential to purify us and transform us into something much more refined and precious. Let's think about this. When we deeply desire something, whether it's love, success, inner peace, or any other form of achievement, what we're actually doing is initiating a process of change within ourselves. But this change doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's not just a matter of wishing and receiving. Between desire and manifestation, there is a cooking process, a purification process. This is where many struggle, because this alchemical fire can be extraordinarily intense. The trials we face are the forces that heat our inner lead. They challenge us to confront our deepest fears, to overcome our limiting beliefs, and to break away from the self-destructive patterns we've carried for years. This fire is not comfortable. It is scorching. It is painful. But it is in this heat that true transformation occurs. Without the fire, lead remains lead. Without challenges, we remain trapped in our old patterns, unable to reach the goal of manifestation. What Jung teaches us is that not everyone is ready to endure this process. Some, when they feel the heat of the fire, choose to step back. The process is simply too intense, too confronting, and that's understandable. It's not easy to face the darkest aspects of ourselves, the fears and limitations we prefer to ignore. But that's where the real difference lies between those who manage to manifest their deepest desires and those who remain stuck in their attempts. Those who persist, those who are willing to endure the heat, to confront the pain, are the ones who experience the final transmutation. This process is not quick. It's not something that can be rushed or forced. Just like in alchemy, where the transformation of lead into gold was a long and meticulous process, inner transformation also requires time, patience, and unwavering will. Every trial, every challenge, every moment of doubt and suffering is an essential part of this process. Without them, there is no change. Without them, lead never turns to gold. Imagine for a moment that you've asked the universe for success in your career, but instead of an immediate promotion or recognition, you find yourself facing obstacles, failures, and perhaps even humiliation. The fire of the alchemical process burns, forcing you to turn inward, confront your insecurities, question your motivations, and redefine what success truly means to you. If you persevere, if you endure the heat and learn from these trials, you will emerge with a new understanding of yourself and your purpose. In this case, gold is not just external success, but a more refined, authentic version of yourself. The alchemical process is ultimately a journey of self-discovery and transformation. It compels us to face what is dark and heavy within us, to endure the fire of change, and to trust that this process will lead us to a place of greater clarity and power. It serves as a reminder that manifestation is not merely about getting what we want, but about becoming the person who is truly ready to receive it. Life is an endless cycle of death and rebirth, a perpetual dance between endings and beginning. Jung understood this dynamic as the heart of our existence, where each trial, each challenge, acts as a small death. It's the dissolution of the old, of what no longer serves us, to make way for something new, something more aligned with our true essence. This cycle is not only inevitable, it is essential to our evolution. Without death, there is no rebirth. Without letting go of the old, we cannot embrace the new. When the universe puts you to the test, it's not without purpose. These trials, often manifesting as loss, whether of relationships, jobs, beliefs, or lifestyles, are actually the precursors to rebirth. However, this death, this detachment, is not an easy process. It involves pain, uncertainty, and sometimes a feeling of emptiness. But this emptiness is not a bottomless pit. It's a fertile space, a prepared ground for sowing new possibilities. Imagine you find yourself in the midst of a major personal crisis. Perhaps everything in your life feels like it's falling apart. Your relationships are failing. Your job no longer fulfills you. And the beliefs that once supported you now feel hollow and inadequate. In this moment, it's easy to sink into despair, feeling as if you've lost your way. But what's really happening is that the universe is preparing the ground for your rebirth. This is a critical moment. A moment that will define who you will become from now on. The death of an old identity, of limiting beliefs, or of dysfunctional behavior patterns is a necessary act of purification. Just like a snake, you must leave behind what no longer serves you in order to grow. Although this process may seem like a loss, it's actually a release. You are freed from the invisible chains that have kept you trapped in a cycle of stagnation. This death is a sign that you are ready for something greater, something that aligns more closely with your true self. This cycle of death and rebirth is a constant in life. As we evolve, what was once essential for our growth may become obsolete, even restrictive. It is at this moment that the universe intervenes, urging us to let go of what no longer serves us, to detach from the old and embrace the new. This detachment is essential for our evolution. Every ending is actually a new beginning, an opportunity to rebuild yourself on a firmer, more authentic foundation. Think for a moment about nature. Trees lose their leaves in autumn, not because they have failed, but because it is part of the natural growth cycle. This shedding allows new, stronger, and more vibrant leaves to emerge in spring. Similarly, when something dies in your life, whether it's a relationship, a belief, or a way of life, it creates the space needed for something new and better aligned with your true purpose to blossom. It is crucial to remember that death is not the end, but a transition, a doorway to what is yet to come. When you find yourself in the midst of a crisis, when you feel everything is falling apart, it is a sign that you are on the brink of a rebirth. But for this rebirth to occur, you must be willing to let go of what no longer serves you, to allow the old to die so the new can be born. This process of death and rebirth also requires a dose of faith. The faith that the universe has a plan, that every loss is preparation for something better, something greater. You may not be able to accurately predict what will come next, but you can trust that what will emerge will be more aligned with who you truly are. This is the moment when your resistance becomes your greatest obstacle. The more you cling to the old, the harder the process will be. But when you allow yourself to follow the cycle, when you accept death as a necessary part of the process, you open the door to a truly transformative rebirth. Manifestation, in its essence, is a cyclical process. It's not just about creating what you desire, but being ready to let go of what no longer aligns with your life. Every time something dies, whether it's a relationship, a job, or an old identity, it's an opportunity to be reborn, to build something new and better aligned with your desires and purpose. This cycle of death and rebirth is what allows you to evolve, to grow, and to manifest from a place of authenticity and power. Through the work of Carl Jung, we understand that the trials of the universe are neither punishments nor random obstacles, but rather necessary steps in our journey toward personal transformation and authenticity. Jung believed that these challenges were intrinsically linked to our psyche and served as a catalyst for deeper, more meaningful growth. When we ask for something from the universe, whether it be love, success, or inner peace, we are not just making a wish. We are engaging in an inner alchemical process where our weaknesses, fears, and limiting beliefs are brought to light and confronted. This process, although often difficult and painful, is essential for eliminating what no longer serves our evolution and allowing us to transform into a more authentic and aligned version of ourselves. The concept of synchronicity, as described by Jung, is also fundamental in this context. Synchronicity is not simply a coincidence, but a manifestation of how the universe communicates with us, often through events that seem too significant to be mere chance. These moments of synchronicity are signals that the universe sends us to guide us, to indicate that we are on the right path, or to remind us to adjust our trajectory. The integration of our shadow, that part of ourselves we often prefer to ignore or repress, is another essential part of this journey of transformation. Jung believed that to achieve true fullness and manifest our deepest desires, we must confront and integrate these dark aspects of our psyche. It is only by accepting and working with our shadow that we can become whole beings, capable of maintaining and supporting what we wish to manifest in our lives. Ultimately, manifestation is not just about obtaining what we want, but about becoming the person who is ready and able to receive its blessings. It is a journey of continuous transformation where every trial, every challenge, every moment of doubt or fear is an opportunity for growth. Through this process, we move closer to our true essence, our authentic self, and become capable of creating a life that aligns with who we truly are. This understanding of manifestation as a process of deep personal transformation is what makes Jung's work so powerful and relevant. It reminds us that life is a journey of constant evolution, where every step, every obstacle, every victory leads us to a greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.